But first, days after Derrick Rose made comments that forced many in the sports world to question his commitment to the game, Rose defended what he had to say about his life after basketball, moments before he took to the court to play Toronto. And then, ironically, late in the fourth quarter, another injury. Rose slipped and fell on a drive late in the fourth quarter of the game.
I guess it's my cramps in my hamstrings, but I think it's minor, and they decided to pull me out, so I feel like that.
Is it too early to know if you'll be able to go on Saturday?
It's too early. It's right after the game. It's too early, but we'll see.
You feel like it's more of a tweak or more of just cramps?
I feel like just cramps. Set out. We got a good team, so we had the game, so we was up 10 by the end, so I forced it.
But there's more. Coming off of two major surgeries, two sprained ankles, and now an injured hamstring, the questions and concerns about Derrick Rose are at an all-time high in Chicago. Teammate Joakim Noah will not stand for any Rose slander. Listen to his strong comments.
Every time something happens to him, people act like it's the end of the world. And that's so lame to me. Like relax. Like, okay, like he's coming back from two crazy surgeries. Obviously, we're being conservative with him, and when things aren't going right, you know, he's gotta listen to his body more than anybody. So everybody needs to chill the out. I'm sorry for cursing, but I'm really passionate. You know, that's like, I don't like to see him like down, and he doesn't he doesn't say that he's down, but I just don't like it when people portray him and judge him, because it's not fair to him.
All right, Skip Bayless, what's going on with Derrick Rose?
Stephen A. Smith, here we go again. Another bizarre night for Derrick Rose and another bittersweet night for Bulls fans, because they watched their team at Toronto, Eastern Conference contender, we'd have to say, at least an upstart. Bulls trail by 7 at halftime. Then they came out in the third quarter and blew the Raptors off their own court, 35-14, then hung on to win by 7 points. But as we all now painfully know, Derrick Rose appeared to turn his left ankle as he drove down the lane with about 2 minutes left in the game. Limped to the bench. Rachel Nichols on TNT reported that no trainer or doctor even appeared to talk to Derrick Rose, who just immediately sat on the bench, basically shaking his head. Joakim put his arm around Derrick Rose as if he were really hurt, unclear what was going on. Then he later said, as we just saw in the postgame, he had a cramp in his hamstring. I don't know what it means. He said it's minor, but he doesn't yet know if he'll be able to go next game. So, once again, the question looms, just how hurt will Derrick Rose play? Because in his pregame remarks to Rachel Nichols, he did not take back or even begin to soften his comments about how he will protect himself during his career for his life after basketball. He doesn't want to injure himself to the point that it will restrict him from walking after his basketball career is over. He said he was just being real and just being honest and just being himself. So once again, we have to wonder, what is Derrick Rose's commitment? Because it sure appears to me that he isn't nearly as driven to win a championship as Bulls fans are passionate post-Michael Jordan about winning another championship. It appears to me that Derrick Rose continues to feel like he's doing his hometown fans a favor to even play as much as he has played. And we all know he's played a total of 10 games over the last 2 seasons and collected $34 million worth of checks. Earlier this year, of course, he appeared to turn both of his ankles. We're still not sure how much that played into whether he could or couldn't play. And now I have to wonder once again, Stephen A., was this young man born to play a game that he doesn't really, really love playing, at least at an NBA championship level? Does he really, really care about winning the way Bulls fans want him to care about winning when he's making $34 million? It appears not to me. It appears he's another Jay Cutler, not the Jay Cutlers in his his talent range, but
not.
it's starting to come across like they're the same guy. They don't really care about winning the way they're paid to care about winning. That's my take on what happened last night.
That's fair for you to come to that conclusion. I'm not sure I entirely disagree with it, but let's dissect some of the things that transpired. And let me first lean on what Joakim Noah had to say in the aftermath of Derrick Rose telling Rachel Nichols that, I'm not going to take back anything that I said. I was just honest and letting you know where I stand and how I feel. Joakim Noah is somebody that should be profoundly respected because he's all about heart, guts, and grit. As Brian Windhorst accurately pointed out on SportsCenter this morning, Joakim Noah has knee issues. The operative procedure that he had in the offseason didn't end up as ideal as he would like it to be, and it's something that can compromise him career-wise down the road. We're not sure about that, but that certainly appears to be a concern. But when Joakim Noah steps out on the floor, you don't hear much about him because you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that he wants it and he wants it bad. Everything that he does, everything that he, oozes out of his body, you could just tell he wants it and he wants it bad. Which brings us back to his comments in defense of Derrick Rose. What Joakim Noah is going to have to realize is that he's one of the primary reasons why people are coming down hard on Derrick Rose. Because when you look at Joakim Noah, what he epitomizes, what he represents for himself as well as the Chicago Bulls organization, it just puts more of an onus on Derrick Rose to emulate that behavior because he's paid to be that way, and he has the skills. If you look at the Chicago Bulls right now, we've heard about problems with them from day one. We didn't know whether they were going to gel. We didn't know about the health of Derrick Rose, who's already missed 4 games. Joakim Noah's, his health has been questionable. But yet here they are at 7-2 already, a top seed within the Eastern Conference, and the road to the finals, in all likelihood, if they continue to play this way, will have to go through Chicago. So what does that do? That begs for Derrick Rose's productivity and commitment to excellence because if he brings it, the Chicago Bulls are probably going to be in the NBA Finals. Yep. And this city is starving for that opportunity. That's where it comes from. I think when you look at Joakim Noah's comments, I think that he's sort of misrepresenting what people are saying about Derrick Rose. And I say that respectfully because I got nothing but love and respect for Joakim Noah. I mean, he's what it's all about when you talk about NBA basketball in terms of heart, grit, and commitment. But he's coming across as if people are trying to say that Derrick Rose is either faking injuries and he's not working hard. Nobody is accusing Derrick Rose's injuries of being anything less than legit, nor is anyone saying that he doesn't work his tail off to get back on the court to play at a very high level. And when the injuries on the court actually do take place, we saw him twist his ankle. We saw him twist his ankle against Cleveland in Game 2 of the NBA season. We've seen all of these things. No one's questioning that. What they're questioning is whether or not you are okay with it because your comments seem to give the indication that if you can't play, well, that's just the way it goes. Yeah. It's no big deal. But it's a very big deal to everybody who loves basketball, everybody who appreciates the greatness of Derrick Rose, and everybody who fantasizes about the possibility of the Bulls being a legitimate title contender. We know everything rides with him. And so when Derrick Rose comes across as being a bit aloof or nonchalant about the injuries by bringing up how he wants to go to meetings and he doesn't want to be sore beyond his playing career, we're like, well, you're in your 20s. You already missed all but 10 games of the last 2 years.
Yep.
What are you talking about? And that's where Joakim Noah is missing the boat there. Nobody's questioning the legitimacy of Derrick Rose. His character is not to be questioned in terms of his honesty and things of that nature. Nobody's questioning that. We're just saying that if you're a franchise guy, you've got to appear to want it a hell of a lot more than his actual comments indicated. That's the point here.
Yep. To your point about Joakim, I have high regard for him also. I think he does play hurt and always plays just flat out as hard as he can go.
Yeah.
At what point will somebody in that locker room, for Derrick's sake, for his sake, call him out publicly? When will we reach that point?
Well, the hard answer to that question is, Skip, maybe never, and here's why. Number one, he's an incredibly nice guy and a good kid. Number two, they tell you that they see him working hard all the time. So in their eyes, it's primarily bad luck more than anything else. It's not like this guy is healthy and is finding excuses not to play. They don't think that about him. If they thought that he was lackadaisical, I think Joakim Noah or Tom Thibodeau can be trusted to call him out in some way. But they know better. The problem is, because of all those good qualities, combined with the bad luck, they're still using that to absolve him from his actual comments. His comments were very damning. When you make that kind of money, when people are walking through the turnstiles to see you play, when they're looking for you to play, when they know that you hold literally to key to their legitimate championship aspirations, you cannot say what Derrick Rose said. That's the issue. It's not about his injuries and whether he's legitimately injured or not. And please, of course he's legitimately injured. Of course he's legitimately hurt.
But how
of course
injured?
He works
That's
hard.
always the question. How injured is he? Was he so injured that he could only play 10 games the last 2 years, or could he have played half a year? It's just hard to know, and we talk about this all the time. I don't know, but people are beginning to doubt, beginning to wonder.
The only time, Skip, the legitimacy of whether he could play or not came into question is when he was essentially cleared by the Chicago Bulls to come back and play, and he refused to do so when they had even entered the playoffs. That was the only time. It wasn't during the regular season last year. It was before that in the playoffs. That was the time, and that's what people are holding on to, which is what makes his comments that much more egregious, because he remembers how people were questioning him back then and still said what he said the other day. Joakim Noah has to recognize that.
Last quick point. I want to say that I appreciated the comments on TNT's pregame last night from Charles Barkley and Kenny Smith and Shaquille O'Neal. All of them said, hey, we all limp around now, and we'd all do it over in a heartbeat because basketball was so good to us, and they can't see why Derrick can't appreciate that.
Yeah, says it all.
Gentlemen, let's move on to the NFL. This Sunday will be